Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use Wix CMS and Repeaters in order to create dynamic content on your website. So over here, I have the Repeaters inside of the Add Elements tab. You just click this plus sign, then you go to Layout Tools, then you go to Repeaters, and you can see that these are the repeaters that you have by default. I'm just going to grab this one right here, drag it over to my section, and then I'm going to stretch it for now to fill this whole section here so that it fills the entire space. And then I'm going to add a little bit of content to it. So I'm just going to add a stack here from the quick add. And because it's a repeater, it's going to repeat the same content inside each of these items. And that's going to become important as we add CMS. But that's the real advantage of a repeater. It has the same layout, and then the content inside it is going to change. So I've got my stack here. I'm going to just center align it so it's easy to see. And then I'm going to go to my CMS. So this is the content management system inside of Wix. And I'm going to click Start Now. And it's going to add the content management system to my Wix Studio website. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a collection. I'm going to create a collection which just acts like a database of your content. And now there's different types of collections, but for this, I want to create a content collection. So I'm going to click Next, and I'm going to use Create with AI. So I'm going to create a team members database. So team members, and I want to have the title, the name, title, bio, and profile image. So I'm just going to use AI to create this collection real quick, and it's going to pull in some sample data, and it's going to say, is this correct? Yes, this looks great. I didn't ask for email address, so I don't really want that. Name, title, biography, and profile image. Go ahead and generate content. So now it's going to create this collection for me. And once it's here, then I have this ready to go. I want to see how long this is. Oh, this is perfect. This is just a little bit of text. That's what I wanted. So now I'm going to connect this data to my repeater. So in order to do that, I click on an element over here, and then I click on the connection tool, but I actually want to click on the repeater itself. So you want to click on the repeater, then connect to CMS, and then you can click Add Dataset, and then you want to choose your dataset. So team members collection, and then you click Create, and now this repeater is added to the dataset. It's connected to the dataset, and you saw right away that it added 5 of these items, and that's because I have 5 items in my collection. So I've got 5 right here, and if I were to add another one, and let's just put some info in here. Let's just say CEO, and John loves to manage his company. Sure. And then we can add a profile image here just using media from Wix. Let's just say headshot, and we will add this as the image for John. Okay, so I just added another item. You'll see this will update now to 6. So the repeaters it's going to match the amount of items that I have in my collection that are published. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of styling here to my items just to give it some padding, just really fast. So I'm just going to go like this and like this. Let's actually go 10%. And then one thing I love to do is I love to turn on the view sizing preference to always show advanced. I have some videos about advanced settings, but if you want to get the best possible layouts, you want to use advanced. So because then you can do things like this and make sure that your repeater or that your stack inside of your repeater is ready to go. So I'm going to line my items here, my item spacing. I'm going to say 20. So you can get these to be however you want. So now that I have this connected to the data, source. Now I just have to go in and manage what each element is connected to. So now that I click this text, I just go into name, and this will populate across all of these different items. And then for this, I might want to do their biography here. So there we go. And then the button, I could do a click action if I wanted to a dynamic page. I haven't created dynamic pages yet, but that's how you add a repeater to a CMS collection. And this is how you can start to display dynamic content. And it's really awesome because once you get this set up and you add a new item, it's going to keep it in that same format. So I'm going to add another one here, just a made up name. Let's see. Sarah Jones will be our graphic designer. And then we'll just say Sarah loves to design things. For impact. And then we'll add an image here because we might use this field a little bit later. So again, I'm going to go to media from Wix. And of course, you could use whatever image you want. But I'm going to find our graphic designer here. Okay, so there we go. And now we'll have another one so you can see Sarah Jones is here. So once you have this connected, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can change what is showing through your collection. So you can change the status. So let's say that I don't want Ava Martinez to show up. I can change it back to draft. And then once I click here that all changes have been saved, hopefully this will save for me, then we should see this go back down to 6 in a second. So that must not have saved. Sometimes you have to click off on your collection in order for it to save. And so let me try this again, change status. Oh, this is why. Now it's saved up here. And now we should see only 6. So you can manage it that way. You can also manage the order of the collection inside of your repeater here from the collection, or you can add a filter over here. So I'm going to do this by name. I want this to sort A to Z. So now it's alphabetical. And then I want to apply order to my website and click show the current item order on your site. And then now it'll show up in this order. I could do the same thing if it was by title or by biography or by some other field. But now it'll show up the same way on the website. So that's something you can do. Or if you want to go to the repeater here, you can go to the dataset settings and you can also add a filter. So you can say something like that only include names that contain the letter A. And this might be all of them. Okay, it's 4 of them. So there's that. That's just a random filter that you could do. You could do other filters. But this is where it gets fun to play with this dynamic content, and repeaters and collections go hand in hand because they have the same kind of setup that a collection has, where you have a parent container, which is the repeater, and then you have items within that container. That's the same way that collections are set up. So you have your collection, and then inside of your collection, you have items within that collection. And of course, we could make this more advanced by adding dynamic pages. We could have a dynamic item page that would have a page for each of these individual items, or we could have a list page that shows all of these items here on one page. And to do that, you just go to pages, you go to add dynamic page, and then it will have you pick which one you want to do. So item page or list page. And you always want to click the collection that you want to use if you have multiple collections. So the other thing that I wanted to highlight here is just getting back to that using advanced settings. So if you come over here to the right-hand side and we look at the repeater itself, we're going to see on the design side of things that we have a place to control a few things here. So we have the type. So we have cards, lists, slider, or grid. I want to keep it as cards. We have the direction. We have the number of items per row, and then the alignment and that sort of thing. If we click into the item itself, you'll see that we get these columns here and rows where we have even more control on what to do. So we could set this to auto, for example, and we'll see this kind of tighten up. So If you want to learn how to use advanced settings, I highly recommend it because you'll get even more control over your repeaters and all the elements that you use on the page. But that's something right there that I just took out the min max. And so it should hug these repeaters a lot better. And it's going to default to this main one, the biggest one, but it's going to give you a better layout going forward. And if I ever needed to add something here to this stack, like let's say I needed to add this image, then these are going to update, and I want that image to be on the top, and I want to connect this to my profile image. I can still do these kind of things after the fact. So this image, though, needs to be 100% width. I want it to fill the whole size of that item. And then we'll have to straighten it here in a second. Let me see if I can get it to straighten for me. So that's going to be how that looks. And these are at different heights because the biographies are the different lengths. But if I wanted this to be closer to all the same level, I might change this field to, instead of biography, to the title, the position they're in. And this looks a lot cleaner now. And then of course there's things that I can do to help these images. If I really need this image to be a certain way in order for it to show, then I might change the height to a certain pixels. So I might say this needs to be 300 pixels if I can do this correctly, so that it's a bit taller and that you can see the entire image. I might want to go 400 here, just for these images. Now these are some weird images, to be honest, because AI just pulled in whatever it wanted to. So you'd want to make sure you go in and update this. But this is how you start to use repeaters and CMS to show dynamic content. And hopefully that gives you some ideas on what you can do to get it connected. Also what you can do to lay out the elements better using advanced settings. And then also what you can do to control your collections going forward by managing their visibility, the status over here, creating new items, removing items, sorting the items and applying that order to the site, or adding filters. There's really so many things that you can do. And I'm a big fan of repeaters and CMS because it does make managing the website so much easier if you know how to use it. And it can be a real game changer for you in your business. So that's what I have for today's video, and I will see you in the next video.